just an intersection with the walking trail and the bikers and our golf carts and everybody else right there. There's more room to get around now without going off the path and potentially falling. It's usually muddy if the sprinklers hit it. So that's a good spot. The other ones were kind of extensions to the cart paths that have become worn out, so we kind of increased those. We're also working on 2 spots, one on number 1 red and one on 4 red, that we're going, as people have played last year, they can see where the dirt's at. We're gonna plant those here in about a month sometime, probably in a month. We're gonna frost seed some warm season grass that's gonna take out about 1.65 acres of grass that we currently maintain. It does not get irrigation, so it's usually not very good. So we're gonna plant some grasses in there to kind of add some contrast. We've taken some trees out, and so it'll just kind of break things up a little bit. Probably one of the most important parts then is the emerald ash borer. I do not believe the emerald ash borer is on the course yet, but it is only a matter of time. We do have hundreds of ash trees. So active ingredient I've listed, we're going to treat some of them kind of on a 2-year basis. We're going to treat what we kind of feel what we can get to in 2024, maybe half the trees, treat half of them in 2025. Those are not half the trees in the entire inventory of the golf course, but half the trees that we feel important, that provide shade by a tee box. So if you're waiting, like in an outing or something, there's a nice sized tree there, we're gonna try and save those. Trees that are, by the green, trees that kind of provide, somewhat, you can notice them on the golf course. I mean, trees that are off in the distance, off in just along places that really don't come into play, we're not going to probably treat those. Those will be taken out. Just in a kind of an example, I kind of went through like the old driving range, kind of the triangle. There's 25 ash trees in that triangle, and we might save 4 to 7. It just kind of depends the important ones. There's a couple of them that are kind of nice trees to have. Some of them are too close together. Those are just going to be clear cut out of there. But it is going to be, there's a lot of trees. So if anybody needs some firewood at some point, we may have some. The other one, just example, like right down number 9, fairway 9, the hole right along the road. There's 11 ash trees right along the road. I think there's 5 honey locusts and a maple as well, so it's going to definitely be open from Highway 3.
Right along cart path.
Right along the cart
trail.
path, yeah. Yes. But it'll give us an opportunity to plant, different trees, different kinds of trees.
Walnuts, right?
At the current
Walnuts
time,
and
we have
locusts.
2 walnut trees in the course, and they're in a good position to stay there. So, kind of, with that being said, 2024 is already here. Pretty much got all our grinding done. We've got 3 reels left. Most everything else is ready. It'd be nice if the ground froze for a couple different things, but I don't know if we're going to get to it or not. A few small projects or good-sized projects for us. We're going to plant 40 to 50 new trees this probably early spring. The last couple of years we have kind of cleaned out our existing tree farms, and we're going to plant those back in there for a few years, and we're going to use a tree spade and move them back on the course when they get a little bit bigger. We did take out everything west of the door of the clubhouse, kind of in the little nook area between the storage and the west door. We're going to have a flagpole in there, so we ripped the bushes out and got all that cleaned up. Flagpole will go in this spring at some point. We've got a couple different concrete additions set up for this summer. We're going to redo the bunker drainage on a hole on 6 Black, and then we're going to add some irrigation. So that being said, hopefully we get opened up late March. It's always nice to open up in usually the last weekend of March if we can, get people excited instead of waiting until April comes and and then it already turns to May. So if we can get going in March, beginning of April, that would be good. And, good. So thank you for the opportunity, and anybody have any questions?
You don't see any ash borer up there,
No. I mean, we're in all the we were in a lot of trees last winter, trimming trees, stuff like that. We do have some sick ash trees, but, I mean, you can tell there's mushrooms growing on a couple of them. Certain things like that, I mean, we just don't, we have some splits that we're gonna take down, you know, that are just, they got beat up in the winter, or the winds. So we're still kind of working on those trees yet, and so I talked to Justin Kellen the other day. If the ground does freeze up a little bit, we're gonna get out there and try and take some of those down, but we tried to last December and it never froze, and so then it's kind of, you know, we got 2 foot of snow and now it's all melting, and we just really haven't had much of a chance to. So, but I don't see, I've been looking fairly hard, and I could be wrong, but I mean, the last few years we looked pretty hard and I just don't see it, so.
So these other trees you're talking about are kind of dangerous? I mean,
I wouldn't call
Not
them
really.
dangerous, but they're ones that we would not treat. You know, if emerald ash borer was there, it'd definitely be one that would be taken down.
well, I applaud you treating the trees that you want to salvage. If you ain't seeing it, get them treated,
Yeah,
that's something ahead.
we've been looking, you know, if we do it ourselves, which we have the,
Injector?
Dad bought the injector from Coley's auction, his estate sale, a few years ago. He was trying to treat some of the trees at his place. Last year we had it kind of calibrated, kind of went through, and then we just kind of were sitting on, you know, we know it's a 2-year, we can treat for 2 years. So if we treat them this year, they're good for 2 years. And then, so we can kind of split it up half and half maybe and kind of make it easier on us.
Forward thinking.
I don't know, we don't wanna lose them all, but if we can save a few of them and replant some, it'll be good, so.
Do you irrigate the tree farm somehow? I mean, I realize you can't have irrigation lines running where you're spading, but,
The tree farms are irrigated,
oh, they are, yes.
so we do have sprinklers in those, and we do have, we put one in last year when, on 5 Green, the one out by the bathroom, we blew the piece of pipe out. Something happened, a gasket gave way and it broke, so we actually put a hose bib in there so we can actually run with a hose even.
Okay.
So it's just a hand deal, and we can open it up and water that way too, so we do have the potential to water pretty easy.
Good.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
All right, Chief Shipper.
Mayor, council, administration, thank you for the opportunity. I'll try to be brief as well here. I know you find it hard to leave, but I will. First off, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the staff, our families, the businesses that support the fire rescue department, or the council and administration as well. We're open 24/7, and it takes a lot of people, a lot of effort to run a fire rescue department. I didn't include a bunch of pictures this year. The front picture is just some of the things that we deal with. You pull up to a situation like that, and there's so many things to consider, and we have to do that and size up on every call. This particular call, the pickup is still inside the house on that picture. We actually had transported 6 people out of there, including the lady who was trapped in her bed in the bedroom with the pickup up against her. We had fuel leaking out of the pickup. We had to kill power to the house. We had to kill the gas to the house. We had to make sure the floor was going to hold us as it was sagging and creaking, and that could have dropped everybody into the basement. So there's a lot of things that go on. This was one of the calls that takes a lot of staff. Took all 3 of our ambulances plus a mutual aid ambulance, and several of our firefighters to do extrication to get people out of this situation. And everybody lived, fortunately, out of this accident, and you know, I always say we can replace materials, but it's hard to replace life, right? So that's the main thing we focus on, is life safety. The second page is your staff, currently 40 members, 10 which are full-time. We're still short 2 full-time people. That includes 36 people with a medical license of some sort, 32 certified firefighters. I'd be remiss if I didn't mark down Dan Rexwinkle. He just finished his EMT, so he's a firefighter EMT now. So we've got people continuing to do their training. We have 3 people in paramedic schooling currently, so hopefully we'll get those people through school by next summer, May, June time, and we'll be up to having 10 paramedics, and that'll be a nice help as well. The next page is a breakdown. We had 1,793 calls for the year, which comes out to about 5 a day. 1,336 EMS and 457 fire type calls, and the fire breakdown for calls is there for what type of calls that we respond to. Some of the dollar losses there, it's hard for us to add up dollar loss because we never do know the total amounts from insurance companies and everybody else and what they end up paying, so those are all guesses. The next page is the EMS breakdown. So that first page has the fire breakdown that you're just looking at. The next page shows our EMS breakdown of 822 city calls, 911, 121 rural 911, 363 transfers we did last year. So almost 1 a day when you figure that out with the amount of transfers. And the big number that's changed over the years, we used to do 40 to 50 second calls. We did 116 second ambulance calls or third ambulance calls, meaning the first ambulance was already out. It was either on a transfer or it was on another 911 call. Our third unit that we kept has been out at least once a month on average, where we've had a third ambulance call and been out of ambulances. So pretty busy on that end as well. Next couple pages are just a couple graphs of the fire breakdown that I give you every year. And then if you turn to the last page, just a few things I want to comment on, and I'll try to keep this short since we've had a long enough meeting here. This is all the other stuff we do, or some of the other stuff, not all of it, besides the 5 calls a day. So we had 178 inspections we did last year. That is everything from the daycares, which I will concur with the daycare committee. We went in and inspected the daycare, and they fixed a lot of fire code issues already with that building, and it's up to snuff. And thanks to that group with Crittenden and them of taking it and making things better. So we do the daycares, we do the schools, we do the jails, we do new construction, we do flammable liquid tank and thing questions like that. We do complaints. So there's a lot of different inspections that get conducted on top of 5 calls a day. Also 54 training sessions were offered to our firefighters. 41 of those were in-house. The other ones were outside schoolings that people had a chance to attend. 328 meetings last year between building construction meetings, council meetings, meetings on hometown Christmas and ice cream days and everything else. Classes for the public, 46. That's whether we're doing a fire extinguisher class, a CPR class, a first aid class, or something like that. We reached or trained 633 people in the public last year. We did 22 fire prevention talks at the schools, reaching 458 kids personally, and then of course we have the handouts that are another 1,000 handouts that we give to the kids at schools. We have a training smoke trailer that we use for our own firefighter training that we also take to WIT every year, and last year 54 people went through that from the tri-state area through our training trailer. Retirements and resignations, we had 6 of them this year. If you want to look there, they're listed. 1 full-time member went to Lincoln, Nebraska, and then we had some volunteers that left for other jobs in other communities and or furthering their schooling and education. So as I said, currently we sit at 40 members. We were almost 50. Some of the grants we received, you can see there, that's just some of them. I didn't list them all, but we were very fortunate this last year and a half to bring in a lot of money. Some of those things you can see there is a good amount of money for certain items. We're always looking for grants and opportunities to save money and bring in some funding to offset taxes and things like that, and so we do the best we can with that stuff. And then some of the other things we assisted with or hosted, just some of them. The Florian Gala fundraiser, they had a side-by-side fundraiser for the burn camp at Okoboji. We helped with that this year. Our pancake breakfast, we had 630 people attend. We hosted Chamber Coffee for EMS Week. We had our awards banquet, which we'll be having again this March. Last year was 153 people. We did shop with a first responder with the Merrill group, and that went very well. We participated in Shirley's Library Touch a Truck event over there at the library. Assisted water department on that main that we put in on Plymouth Street. They didn't have enough water pressure for cleaning out the old mains and stuff. So we took a fire truck down there every day, and we ended up pumping about 25,000 gallons of water, but we blew that main open. And it's a good thing, because the more open main we have, the more water we have for fire protection. So it was a great thing for us, and so we helped them out. We participated in the 6 parades. We stuffed over 6,000 fund drive letters for our annual mailing. We assisted with ice cream days, hometown Christmas, and of course, recently we handed out candy canes, which brought us in a nice donation from the Scheitler family out there. We're one department that anything going on in the city affects us, whether it's construction, whether it's working with Doug's folks at wastewater on confined space entries when they're going down in holes and things like that, to the police department on CERT call-outs, we respond with them, standoffs, lab, methamphetamine labs, it doesn't matter what it is, we get involved with that stuff. The street department, we end up with burning the trees out in the pit for them, and we have too many trees that we've had to cut down, unfortunately, because of danger or disease. The park department, we've spent several times cleaning the trail. We even cleaned a little different type of mud for Clark one day off a trail out by the pond in the dog park. But we're one department that we help everybody, and so we've actually changed our mission statement. We used to have a real long mission statement about protecting lives and property and saving this, and we just now say we take care of all people. That's our mission statement. So it's easier for my group to remember when they go to different conferences and meetings, like, what's your mission statement for the fire rescue department? We take care of all people. That's what we do. We don't care about race, color, religion, any of that. We take care of everybody. And we're available 24/7, 365. I've got a great staff. I'm not gonna say they always agree on everything that we do, but that's with any business that you run. You know, some people have different opinions. I've got, you know, guys that think we need different fire helmets from OEM, and different trucks, and different this and different that. But when the bell tolls, they all come together and they do a fabulous job. So I thank them. I thank their wives, spouses, families for giving them up at 3 in the morning on Christmas and birthdays. And, you know, you feel kind of guilty sometimes as chief. You look around on Christmas morning, you got 25 people there, and you're going, uh-oh, because, you know, the kid's gonna wake up and Santa came and dad, mom's not there or whatever. So great group, great business people that still let their people respond to emergencies when we need them. I can't thank them enough in this community. We live in such a great town that volunteers a lot of stuff and donates to a lot of things, and we're a benefactor of that. So thanks to everybody for that as well. Questions?
And this is for you, Chief, and the other chiefs, and since Doug's here too. On certifications and qualifications when you upgrade, this is not directed at you, it's for all of you. I'll try to phrase this the best. So if I go get a certification, yet there's not a job open that requires that certification, do I get paid higher because I have it, or does it have to fill a hole that you have in your organization?
So how we're set up, Clark, is depending on what certification is, what pay level you come in on the matrix. So if I hire a firefighter EMT, he makes less money than a firefighter paramedic. But once he gets his paramedic, he moves up to that pay level automatically.
Even if you don't have an opening there?
Well, basically, that is the opening, firefighter medical in our.
Okay, and I don't understand
Yeah.
it all, so I
Yeah.
was just curious. What about you, Kevin?
Well, I guess for advancement, maybe into the supervisory position, we would have requirements for training, not necessarily certifications. But if you would get promoted to a certain level, then you would need to meet those training requirements.
And those levels, Clark, there has to be an opening. So If everybody has the training to be an assistant chief, then we don't pay them at assistant chief level unless there's an open position and they
That's what,
fill
that's
that
what
position.
I'm
Yeah,
kinda talking
that's how
about. I
that
didn't know
works.
how that worked,
Yeah.
honestly, and Doug, you have different levels too, and Rich has different levels too, and I didn't know if Joe joins the water department and he's level 1, but he achieves level 3, yet there's no level 3.
That might be way different.
I don't know how it works.
So like
I'm
ours,
kinda curious.
if we hire a firefighter medical person, if you come in at firefighter EMT, we'd like you to be paramedic, you get this pay. If you move up to paramedic, you get this pay.
Okay.
But you're not jumping into those other division ranks unless there's an opening.
Unless there's an opening, okay.
Which, speaking of that, the Assistant Chief Mike Weiss will be leaving this year. So, we'll be looking to fill Assistant EMS Fire Chief spot. That would be, if we do in-house, would be a promotion for somebody
Sure.
on the department.
Right, absolutely. I was just kinda curious and when you were, okay.
Mike's gonna, turn 55 and he's got 30 years of service in and he's gonna take his time. It's a toll. So, those guys usually when they get to that level are ready to go do something else and not get up at all hours of the day and night and work, 3,000 hours a year instead of 2080 and things
Absolutely.
like that. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. Anything else? Good question.
Thank you very much, Chief. You guys do a
Thank you
great
guys for your
job.
support.
You do a good
Appreciate it.
job. Thank you. Council have anything else they want to add?
I just had a couple things that I didn't kinda understand your invitation earlier, but that's okay. So when will we get our Wells Road back? Is it First Street up here?
When their,
By the
when
north-
their addition and remodel is done.
But didn't we give them a limited
It's
time?
it was originally supposed to be this March sometime.
Okay.
Coming up, but I haven't heard a date yet.
But we gave them a limited time, didn't we?
Yeah, well, basically until that project was completed thorough enough that we could open the street back up safely.
Can we check with them to find
I
out?
can
The
do
reason is because I've had multiple comments about since they closed off the fairway cutoff
Yeah,
in there by Lolly's, that we want that street back.
I will
So,
check and get back to you.
and I said I'd get back to a couple people on that.
Okay.
And then Mark and Luke, by far the biggest complaint that I get over my time up here is trash, by far. So